do you expect quantitative easing to accelerate in the next few months? And do you feel the devaluation of the dollar will continue? Well, the devaluation of the dollar will always continue because our government is addicted to printing money. And that's part of the way that they are dealing with their debt problem is by debasing the currency and inflating away the debt. So that's a given, but it's the rate at which that's happening. And so quantitative easing is a mechanism by the Fed, which that speeds up that process by flooding the market with liquidity. But that only happens when there's a large break in the economy, which the Fed as well as the government are working together in tandem to try and avoid to the best of their ability. And so I think right now we're just going to try and maintain the liquidity levels that are there, which are considered ample, but we wouldn't be adding or going full-blown quantitative easing until something breaks in the markets. And when that happens, in the short term or in the immediate term, you could see a decent sell-off in the markets, just like how we saw during 2008, during 2018, as well as in 2020. And so, yeah, the devaluation of the dollar is always going to continue, but we won't go into full-blown QE unless something breaks. Now, I could see that the Fed starts to add assets on their balance sheet at a slower pace if liquidity levels get below that ample reserve level. But we're not seeing that currently right now. But I would expect them to, at some point in the next year, start to add assets on their balance sheet, but they're going to try and do it at a very slow pace, not to reaccelerate inflation. So it's a very delicate balance in this late of stage of the business cycle. And history has shown that the Fed and the government have not done a good job with this balancing act. It's not impossible. They have done it before, like in 1992, but there are more examples in history than not of them failing this balancing act. And so I do hope that they do pull it off, but I also want to stay grounded in reality to where if they don't do that, which is the higher probability of happening, that I have a strategy in place in order to protect my funds.